Welcome to Part 3, Unit 3, Chapter 1, Word. In this chapter, you will be utilizing open and closed software, as well as creating, analyzing, and updating portfolios for positions and paths for career development. Section 3-3, Professional Documents, the Block Style Letter, and the Memorandum. On the left is an image of a memorandum, and on the right is an image of the professional block style letter. Notice, though there may be similarities, there are also differences between the two. The similarities between a memorandum and a block style letter. Both of these documents have the same margins. The top is 2 inches. The left, right, and bottom is 1. The font style can either be Times New Roman or Arial. Font size 12. Line spacing single or SS. When you're working in a memorandum or a letter, make sure you turn on your formatting marks. On the home page in the paragraph tools, you will see a little backwards P that will allow you to turn on your formatting marks so that you can see spacings, margins, and tabs. Differences between a memo and a block style letter. A memorandum is inter-office communication, meaning the memorandum is never sent outside the building, but goes between offices within a building. It is initialized, not signed, and it has a memo heading. The block style letter is sent to clients, prospective employers, etc., etc. In other words, it is usually sent outside a building. It is signed using a full name, and it contains a return address and a mailing address. The memorandum title. You're going to double click inside the header at the top of the page and then type in the word memorandum. Memorandum should be in all uppercase. Then add the title style to the word memorandum. Inside the header, you're going to change the header margin to 0.8. If you look at the example below, notice it says header from top. We now have this on 0.8. This will center the word memorandum inside the header vertically from top to bottom. After you have centered it vertically, you will need to center it horizontally by clicking on your alignment center icon. The memorandum heading consists of the first 4 lines, to, from, date, and subject. The memorandum heading is double spaced. To, from, date, and subject are placed in uppercase or what we call all caps. The information under each of the subject lines, each of these lines are lined up based on the subject line. Pay attention to the number of tab arrows. That is why you have to have your formatting marks on so that you can see how to line these up. You start with your subject line and you hit the tab key once, and then you work upward to your date, from, and to, lining up each of these with the subject line. Also notice that after the word Kathy Murphy, there is an initial. When you write a memorandum, after you have proofed it, then you will sign it with your initials. Now, in this case, because this was on the computer, I used a text. I actually typed it in and then added a font style to it. You would normally not do that. Normally, this is sent out via paper, so you would have to personally initialize it with a pen, and you must use cursive. You do not print. And the color of ink should be blue or black. So if we look at the memorandum, it is used for communication between departments within the same location. One space between paragraphs. Paragraphs are blocked, or what is called up against the left margin. You place your initials after the name in the from of the heading section of the memo. Parts of a letter. The return address is the address of the person sending the letter. In other words, whoever is writing the letter, this is where your return address will go. You will put in your street address, followed by the city, state, and zip code. Then you will put the date that the letter is written. After the date, leave 3 blank lines between the date and the mailing or address block. Here is the mailing address. This is the address of the person who is receiving the letter. You will need the person's name, address, street address, city, state, and zip. Now, it's important to note here that there is a comma after the city and that the state is in all caps, AZ, but notice there is no punctuation. Whenever you capitalize a state, like A, capital Z, or capital I, capital L, there is no need to put any punctuation after it. The mailing address, there is 1 blank line that follows. Then you have the salutation. This is the greeting or the hello. Notice at the end of Ms. LeConte, there is no punctuation. There is no semicolon, no comma. It's just left blank. Also note here that when you are addressing someone in a letter, if they are married, you need to know if they are using their married name or their maiden name. A lot of professional women will use their maiden name, and so in that way you would type in Ms. MS period. This would be used just like Mr. is used for men, MR. It simply is a title. It does not indicate whether a person is married or single. If you know the person, the woman uses her married name and does use the term Mrs., then it would be Dear Mrs. LeConte. But if you are not sure whether the woman is married or single, you always use capital MS. It just means Ms., and it's just like using the term Mr. After the salutation, leave 1 blank line. There should be 1 blank line between all paragraphs. And notice here, the paragraphs are not indented. This is block style, and block means left aligned, or everything is put up against the left margin. Notice that after the final paragraph, we have another blank line followed by the complimentary close. Notice this is the goodbye. And also notice there is no need for punctuation, no commas, semicolons, just leave it blank. Then you will leave 3 more blank lines after the complimentary close. This is for the signature of the person who is sending the letter. In this case, it is coming from Ms. Kathy Murphy. Notice that the person has a writer's name and also a writer's title, followed by a blank line after the writer's title. The writer's or the proofer's initials will be placed after the writer's title. However, if the writer and the proofer are the same, there is no need for proofer's initials. It would just be left blank. Notice there is another space, a line space, and then you can use either enclosure or attachment. When you are sending or attaching another document, or you're enclosing with the letter another document, you need to acknowledge that. Enclosure is used when a document is being included but not attached. Attachment is used if the document is being stapled or attached to the document. Highlighting a memo or a letter. That is never. Highlighting should only be used by the person receiving the letter or the memo. It is never used by the person sending the document. The 3 no's. Never bold an entire document. Never italic an entire document. And never underline an entire document. Viewing side by side. You can view 2 documents side by side at the same time. First, you must have both documents you want to view together open simultaneously. Go to the View tab and look under the Window Toolbar ribbon for View Side by Side, and then select the document you want to open. After both documents have opened, disable the synchronous scrolling. Then reset your window position. Congratulations, you have just finished part 4. If you go to the class website, there's an example of a memo and a block style letter above today's date. Download both of these documents and save them to your Unit 3, Chapter 1 folder. Close out of the block style letter, but keep the memo open. Go to the class website and download the class activity memorandum. View the 2 memos documents side by side. Turn off the synchronized scrolling and reset your window position. Make sure your formatting marks are turned on. Make sure you have changed your default settings for the font and paragraphs. If you don't remember how to do that, see your first PowerPoint. When you see a slash, it means to start a new line. A paragraph ends whenever you see a paragraph formatting mark. Go to the next page for further instructions. Format the memo according to memo guidelines. Add 2 appropriate aesthetic features to your memo. Call your teacher over to review your memo for correctness. Then open up the example block style letter that you saved to your flash drive. Go back to the class website and download the class activity block style letter and save it to your Unit 3 Chapter 1 folder. Open up the class activity block style letter and the example. View the both documents side by side, turn off the synchronized scrolling, and reset your window position. Format the letter according to block style letter guidelines. Whenever you see the forward slash, start a new line and add the correct line spacing. Add 2 appropriate aesthetic features to your letter. Save your document. Call your teacher over to review your work for correctness. You have now finished formatting both a business memo and a block style letter. Go to the class website and review on Quizlet for your quiz on memos and letters. When you are ready to take your quiz, please let your teacher know. Congratulations! You have now finished all 4 of your PowerPoints. So go back to the website and download the I can statement for this unit. Complete the 3rd column. Share it with your teacher. Don't forget to put your first and last name in front of the file name.